As lockdown fatigue continues to strike and we're slowly easing all of the restrictions, there's been a significant focus on our rights to do, as it were, what we like. Our rights to go to beaches, to congregate all together, our rights to go to our places of worship, whether it be churches or, of course, back to our shul, and the rights in general of all of us to be able to come out of this period and to decide what we are going to do now, not to be so restricted in what we are allowed or not allowed to do, where we're allowed to go or not allowed to go. In this week's parasha, Korach also has a tremendous focus on rights, and it's worth thinking about what the repercussions are of focusing solely on our rights as individuals or even on our rights as society. Korach, of course, comes with a rebellion against his cousin, against Moses, and against Aaron, against Moshe and Aaron, who he claims have appointed themselves as the leaders of the people. Now we know, of course, that they were appointed by the divine, but at its core, his question really has a lot of merit to it. Umadua titnasa'u al kehal Hashem. Why do you lord yourselves? Why do you put yourselves as princes, as raised up, as from the root nasi, to be a prince? Why are you exalted above other people? Now, if we look at that word, titnasa'u, from the root nasi, meaning a prince, that also has another meaning. It also is linked to the root linso, to carry. A masa is a burden. Now, a leader in Jewish thought is not somebody who has rights. It's not somebody who has the opportunity to lord themselves above all others. It's not somebody who is there to simply exercise their rights to do whatever they want, to lead in whatever way they want, but somebody who carries the ultimate responsibility, the ultimate burden of the entire nation, of all of the people around them. And Moses and Aaron exemplified that in every sense. They weren't people who focused on rights, as Korach was. They were people who focused on responsibilities, on what they had to do. Now you may say to me that rights and responsibilities are simply two sides of the same coin. And to an extent that's true. But the question is, what is our focus? Now in society today, we talk about one person's right, in a sense, clashing with another person's right. And we try and figure out our laws when my right comes into conflict with your right, when my right to go wherever I want comes into conflict with your right to feel safe when there is an epidemic around, when there is a pandemic that perhaps puts me in a position of danger, then whose right wins? Okay, and that's a legal question. But one can also rephrase that in the opposite way. We can say, when my responsibility to ensure your safety comes into conflict with your responsibility to ensure that I am able to go where I like and to be able to freely move around, whose responsibility wins? So really it's the same question, but the question is phrased slightly differently. Is the focus on rights or is the focus on responsibilities? Now throughout the Torah, we know that there are many mitzvot. Mitzvot are commandments. Mitzvot are obligations. And actually, what the Torah is teaching us is that the focus is always on a responsibility. It is on our sense of duty, our sense that another person's right is our responsibility to provide for. The Torah doesn't talk very much about my right to do whatever it may be, although the Torah does believe in people having rights. But what it does is it phrases it from the opposite perspective, from other people's responsibility to provide those things for us, other people's responsibility to ensure that I can have free speech, other people's responsibility to ensure that I can have a livelihood, other people's responsibility to ensure that I'm given equal opportunity. The Torah is phrasing it from the position of responsibility as opposed to the position of rights. Umadua titnasa'u. We don't lord ourselves as a nasi, as a leader who has the right to do what they like, but a leader who has the responsibility to carry a burden and to provide for the people around. But still, there is a question that we do seem to have different factions. That the Kohen seems to get rights more than other people, the Levi gets rights, and particularly in the times of the temple. They were given presents, people from their hard-earned sustenance from their fields would have to give to the Kohen, give to the Levi, give to all the different people, to the king of the time. And the question again is, why should that be fair? Why is it that they would be able, why would I have to give to somebody else? And the answer really is found in one of my favourite quotes from the Rambam, from Maimonides, where he talks about what we've been talking about the responsibility of the Kohen and the Levi to provide for the people of Israel, and how our responsibility is to support them in doing so. They give their lives really over to us, certainly in the times of the temple, in the sense that they would provide teaching for the people, they would provide services in the temple, and we would be responsible for providing their livelihood, for ensuring that they could support their families. But then he concludes with a fascinating law. And he says as follows: V'lo shevet Levi bilvad. This doesn't just apply to the Levite tribe. Ela kol ish v'ish, any person, mikol ba'ei ha'olam, from anyone in the entire world. Asher nadva rucho, whose spirit compels them to give to other people, to devote themselves to other people, to devote their lives to the community and to serving the community. Harezeh nit kadesh, that person is considered to be holy. Kodesh kodashim, the holiest of holy. More than a priest, more than the Shevet Levi, more than the tribe, the Levite tribe. Anyone who dedicates themselves to other people and commits themselves to providing and to helping and to sustaining the community around is considered to be the holy of holy. V'hiyeh Hashem chelko, and the Almighty will be their portion. And again, everyone else's responsibility is to ensure that they are able to continue to provide for us. So while society needs a hierarchy, while there does need to be one person who's in charge and one person who's second, and we all need to fit in, we all need to know our place, ultimately what the Torah is teaching us is two things. Number one, that is a responsibility. That is not a right. It's a burden that we should carry, and it's something that we have to work hard in order to deserve. And number two is that anybody can carry that burden. Anyone who feels that they are able to give themselves over and to really dedicate themselves to communal work or to helping in any sense is someone who is considered to be the holiest of holy. Someone who carries that burden with the Almighty by their side, and someone who we have the responsibility to sustain in any way which we can. Shabbat Shalom.